Welcome back to episode 36 of Off the Wall Podcast. I'm your host, Bobby, joined by Matt and Melo. It's almost trade season, boys. Not
Let's
quite there
go.
yet, but we're getting there. There are a lot of rumors
Dave
running around.
Dave Dombrowski's favorite time of the year. So always a fun time to have him as your general manager. So
I
I mean, I
mean,
could say the same thing for Andrew Friedman too.
yeah,
He's
you
been
never
known
know.
to pull a couple rabbits out of his hats the past couple of years.
Yeah, last year he did a little
Last
bit.
year, yeah, not much, just
But
made a couple moves. That's all.
a couple players.
Yeah,
Only Max Scherzer and Trey Turner.
yeah. And one of them's still here.
That's true.
Yeah.
But anyway, no trades just yet. Hopefully we can get one up live on the podcast. That would be pretty cool.
that would be fun.
Yes, it would.
But just rumors for now. We'll dive into all those and our predictions maybe a little bit later. But first, Mello, I'll be nice to you real quick. I think we got to appreciate the Dodgers. Out of
Say that again.
nowhere, we have to appreciate the Los Angeles Dodgers basically declaring the NL West over on July 27th. If it was the quietest lead change, or not lead change, but extending of the lead in the NL West, that I didn't even realize they're 11 and a half games in front of the Padres for first place. Is this division over? Are you going to call it right now?
I'm not ready to call it yet.
Hmm.
I'm starting to feel really good about myself and this team, but let's give it to mid-August. I'm still not ready to say it. All it takes is for the Dodgers to have one bad week, and then, let's see, maybe Tatis will come back sooner, then the Padres get some juice. They have a good week, and then we're right back into this thing. But it's a long season for a reason. And the Dodgers are once again showing you that you have to play 162 games.
Mm-hmm.
And their depth, even with all their injuries to their bullpen and pitching, we're still 11 and a half up on San Diego. And I mentioned this to you guys in the group chat a couple days ago. San Francisco came into Dodger Stadium and we handled business, swept them. So whatever Pixie dust, whatever Disney magic that was in their locker room or at their stadium or traveling with them last season, it's no longer there. I will say that. The little magic little run is over. And I feel very good about that.
Matt, are you ready to declare the NL West over?
See, I was going to say, well, Melo, I thought he was going to, and he didn't.
Can I
And he
start
gave
pumping
his
champagne?
reasoning. He gave his reasoning, which is fair reasoning, like a week or so. And the Dodgers might only be up 5 games or might only be up 6 games. But to me, that's still a pretty significant lead, at least to the point where the Los Angeles Dodgers, it's been their division for the most part for as long as I can remember. So, well, okay, if you go way back to the Giants, but for the most part, recent history,
Yeah.
it's the Dodgers division. There hasn't been a time where they've had like a 2-week. No, I'm sure Melo can elaborate because there probably has been, but like not frequently. The Dodgers don't go on these historically bad losing streaks. They
No.
don't. They've been a steady franchise, and I wouldn't be afraid to say that the Dodgers are definitely winning the division this season on July 27th. Just over halfway through the season, a little over halfway. So no, I wouldn't be afraid. I would say the Dodgers win the division, whether it ends up being by 10 games or by 2.5 games. It doesn't matter. I think the Dodgers definitely win the division.
Yeah, I'm actually proud of you that you're trying to be like a little modest Dodger fan right now, because me and Matt are ready to pop the champagne for you, I think.
Yeah.
Well, listen, whenever that day comes and the Dodgers win the division, whether I'm there at Dodger Stadium or they do it on the road, not going to be smiling. Just business as usual. Step 1 is complete. This is not the main goal.
Must
But
be
if you want to
nice.
send me a T-shirt and a hat, I'll gladly take it and wear it.
Of course.
And maybe be in the locker room that day. But you never know.
Hey, you never know. But yeah, I think it's over. The Dodgers have
Okay.
found themselves again. I feel like they're still not playing like the really dominant Dodger ball, I guess you could say, like that we've seen in years past. Or have they? Have they been?
I mean, their pitching has really carried them this season,
Yeah. I
but
feel like they're not as
they're really streaky when they're on offense.
I feel like they're not as dominant as they have been in years past. Is that
That's
kind
fair
of
to say.
accurate? Okay. And
I
they're
mean,
still
yeah,
what? The
they're
second
65 and 32.
No, 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 no. That's what I was just about to say. They're one of the best teams in baseball, like record wise, but they don't have that Dodger dominant, crazy dominant feel over the other teams as I don't know, to me at least. But they're still obviously arguably the best team in baseball. And I will pop champagne right now. Start popping it.
I'll hold off on that.
Okay, fine.
I'll hold off on that.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
it's definitely much better than last year. Last year, obviously, like probably in second place at this point last year.
Yeah.
But
Them and the Giants were battling back and forth like the entire season, it seemed, or like the entire second half for that.
yeah, and it's gonna be nice if we can keep this division lead this big. So when we get to September, Kershaw, why don't you take a day off? Take a couple starts off.
Yep.
Hey, Tony Gonsolin, I know he got rocked the other night, but take a day off.
Yeah.
And then we'll see who we get. Dustin Mayo coming back, Blake Trinan's coming back. Andrew Heaney was back today, pitched okay. We'll see about Walker Buehler, but Dodgers are getting healthy at the right time, and they're still winning ball games, and they have a significant lead on the second place team.
Yeah.
So, gotta feel good about it.
Mm-hmm. For sure. And then let's shift gears real quick,
Do we have to?
unless you want to just keep going. We'll shift gears to the AL East. Unless Matt, do you have anything? We'll stay in the National League. Anything about the Phillies,
About
NL
the
East?
Phillies?
Anything
Oh,
that you need to talk about?
I don't know. Phillies is trying to hang in there a little
They're
bit.
surviving.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, they took 2 out of 3 from the Braves in the last series, but just after getting swept by the Cubs. So that's kind of 2 step backwards, 1 step forward. They're still a little behind the 8 ball here. So in my opinion, they got to do some moves at the trade deadline. And Dombrowski already said that they're looking to add starting pitching, but they're also not willing to give up top prospects, really, from what I understood from his quotes a little bit that I heard. So I don't know. I'm not like what I was going to say also about with Melo is that he's being a realistic fan. He doesn't want to. And Bobby, you probably, if we asked you, are the Yankees guaranteed to win the division? You would say no.
Right.
But and then to flip it in my shoes, my team's not in a place where we're winning the division by 10 games or 11 games, whatever it is for the Yankees too. We're in a place where we're behind probably 8 or 9. I don't know, to be honest with you right now, but I still look at it as we still have a chance.
Right.
So it's just being realistic as a fan, objective as a fan for your team. Like in all reality, if the Phillies were out 11 games, I would probably say they still have a chance, but you guys would probably say, yeah, there's no chance the Phillies are winning the division. So it's just all being objective. So
yeah, Phillies, 4 games over 500 right now. They're 9.5 back of the division, but they have a wild card spot. They're in the 3rd wild card spot. They're tied with the Cardinals. They have the same record as the Cardinals, which is kind of crazy.
It's gonna flip flop between them and the Cardinals as for the rest of the season, as long as these 2 teams stay at the rate that they're going. Hopefully the Cardinals don't pick up Juan Soto, which I'm sure we'll talk about later, but yeah.
All right. So let's dive in dive into the AL East.
Something happened. Did I miss something?
Well, nothing like drastic, just the Baltimore Orioles. They're coming alive.
They're not in last place.
They are in 4th place in the American League East for the first time since 2002. No, I'm kidding.
Oh,
No, I think I saw that they're not in last place after the All-Star break for the first time since 2017 or something crazy like that,
Wow.
which is bizarre. But the AL East since June 11th, the Orioles have the best record in the AL East at 25-13. And the Yankees are 24-16 since June 11th. So the Orioles are they're there. They're a baseball team this year.
They're not on pace to lose 100 games again this year.
Nope. Not
That's
even close.
That's awesome to say.
Yeah. And part of that, why they're not in fourth place, is because the Boston Red Sox have is collapsed. Too big. Is that a word to describe their recent stretch here? Is this a collapse of the Boston Red Sox?
Kind of a collapse. I mean, kind of they just been
Crumble?
decimated with
The crumble.
yeah, decimated with some unfortunate injuries as well. But I
Forgot
mean,
how
when
to
you
play
have
baseball.
guys that infield of Story, Bogarts, and Devers, and you shouldn't be in last place in the AL East, really. But yeah, I don't know. Even though they said they don't want to trade you the shortstop or third baseman from what I think I heard that today. But
Yeah. But at this point, I mean, they're sitting at 49-49 on the year, 500 team. In the beginning of the year, they had a slow start. Then they turned it on, and everyone was like, okay, maybe the Red Sox are for real. And then now they're going back down again. It's interesting right at this time because they have to make a decision whether they're going to sell at the deadline or they're going to try and be a wild card team. And I don't really know what the right decision is for the Boston Red Sox at this point because they have some valuable pieces that they could trade away. I mean, Xander obviously is a free agent at the end of this year, and that would be a big piece to trade away. But like JD Martinez, they could trade him because his contract is expiring. They have a bunch of guys that are going to be free agents at the end of this year, and if they're not going to make it into the playoffs, might as well get rid of them. But you guys think the Red Sox should sell, keep, maybe buy, or just chill?
I think buy or chill, probably leaning slightly towards buy a little bit.
I don't
Just
know.
because, like you said, they started slow and then got really hot and then were treading water at least, and now they got slow again.
Yeah.
So I would say they should buy or stick with what they have. I mean, it sucks with Sale that he just came back and then got hit with a ball right on his pinky.
Yeah.
But I mean, what are you gonna do about that? But yeah, I think they should probably stick with what they have for the most part.
Melo, any thoughts?
I mean, just looking at the standings right now in front of me, they're 3.5 out of the final spot.
Yeah.
So it's not impossible.
Right.
But the spoiled Dodger fan in me is, hey, Andrew Friedman, let's call and see what we can get for. Let's see if JD's available. But I think they should. I don't think they should sell.
Well,
I don't think they should buy either. But I think they should just chill and stay with what they have. Maybe you get some karma back and a couple bounces go your way. You never know. But I think they should just continue to do what they're doing. Just stay with the pieces. But then it's like, okay, you lose these guys in free agency and you didn't get anything for them.
right. Exactly. And if you don't even make the wild card, then it's kind of not a waste, but I don't know. They're in a tough spot, definitely. But all right. I'll propose this question to you guys. Who has a better chance of making the postseason this year? The Baltimore Orioles or the Boston Red Sox?
It's the Red Sox, at least for me, 100%. There's no question in my mind. They just have the talent right now, and they were in second place in the AL East probably last month, a month and a half ago, something like that. So they definitely have the pedigree to be there, in my opinion. As where the Orioles, I mean, sure, 2 or 3 years from now, they'll be probably a better pick. But right now, even with them having a worse record, it's the Red Sox.
Melo. What do you
How
think?
about neither? Is there a neither option?
I mean, I guess.
I mean, okay, I'm serious. Since Matt took the Red Sox, I'll go the other way. Give me the freaking Baltimore Orioles.
I love that.
Give me the Baltimore Orioles. Don't. It is that damn cliche. It's like don't let these kids know that they're rebuilding. Don't let these kids they're supposed to lose. Something like that.
Yeah.
So why not go on a little run here and say, you know what, we're this close. We're still very much in contention for a wild card. You know what? Let's go for it.
Um,
Go Baltimore.
I
I
want to see.
say.
I,
Well, we know what you want to see. You want to see both teams falling flat on their face.
no, I would like to see the Orioles win. I think that'd be awesome. Okay. No, I was just looking at Fangraphs playoff odds. Red Sox have 25.9% chance, and the Orioles have 3%. So according to Fangraphs, it's the Red Sox by a lot. I'm a little upset by that. Because of course I'd like to see the Orioles over the Red Sox go in, but
I mean, I don't understand why it's not a little higher because we can already eliminate the Oakland Athletics, the Royals, Tigers, Angels, and I'll say the Rangers too.
and
Let's
did you
throw
say
them
the
out.
Royals too?
Yes, I did.
Okay, yeah. So
There's like you could have like 4 teams play for 2 spots
right.
because I
And
think Toronto, no matter what, is gonna as long as Toronto stays in second place, they're gonna get that top spot no matter what.
Yeah, I agree. It also really all just depends on what the Red Sox do. If they were to trade away a JD and maybe
They're way
someone else small, like Uvalde, or I mean, well, he's not actually small, but someone else like not like a Xander Bogarts or something like that, then maybe Orioles could squeak in. Who knows? But right now, I'll probably agree that it's the Red Sox. I'll be a good person.
just because it's talent at the end of the day.
Yeah, it is. But of
Still
course,
nice to see Xander Bogarts, Rafael Devers, and Trevor Story on your infield every day.
yeah,
Even though it hasn't translated to wins and success this season, but
Yeah.
still nice to see that when you're sitting out in at the Monster to see those names in the back of the jersey.
yeah. All right, that's actually a good transition, Noah. So let's talk about the Angels. And you just
Why?
said when you were talking about guys who don't really translate to the record, the Angels with Shohei Ohtani and Mike Trout, Anthony Rendon, who he's out for the year, but he's still on the team. Big guys like that, and the Angels are just not very good at all. So, Shohei Ohtani, rumors about him being traded? Any thoughts on that?
Okay. I'm gonna be brave and say it. I think they should trade him, whether it be now or a little further down the line, because I think he has 1.5 years, the rest of this year and next year, right?
Correct.
On his
Yep.
contract.
Yeah.
So whether it's now or in the off season, I don't think they trade him next year at the trade deadline. I don't know. They could maybe. But in my opinion, yes, just because I don't know. I don't think he'd want to re-sign there. Shohei feels like the type of guy who wants to win for sure. Just from he likes challenges. To be a guy who pitches and hits at a high level like that seems like a guy who's not content with
Wasting it. there.
exactly wasting his talent on a team that's finishing third in the division, fourth in the division. I don't even know. The Rangers could beat him out. And he's not Mike Trout. Mike Trout, no offense to Trout, but he doesn't quite embrace the superstardom. I don't feel like, or just the stardom in general, as
Right.
Shohei could. And Shohei is a very bright light that the league needs to put on display somewhere else. So now, in my opinion, too, this might be a little off topic, but I think Shohei should be more expensive than Juan Soto in terms of getting return. But we can talk about that later.
Okay. Yeah.
I agree
Talk
with that.
about trades. So
I have some. Okay. You know what? No, hold on. Let's stick with that because that's interesting. So I'm gonna play devil's advocate. I haven't really thought about that, but just to go on the other side of that, the only, I guess, negative thing about trading or signing a huge thing for Shohei is that he has a higher risk for injury, maybe with pitching and hitting. So maybe that could be like a turn off. I guess if you could say a team is turned off by Shohei, but that wouldn't really make sense. But I don't know. Shohei is what, 27? 28. 28 years old. Juan Soto
Wow.
is what, 23?
23.
Age is a factor there too, but I mean Shohei is a player we've never seen in our lifetimes. So
and if you're trading for them, you're probably thinking you're gonna pay for them. And at this point, is the gap really that much between the two? From what Soto's turned down
no.
from the Nationals, it seems like it might actually end up being kind of close. And
Yeah.
I know it's the cliche that every sports show says, but you're getting two players on one roster spot in Shohei. So I don't know. And this guy could be the MVP for the next 5 years.
Right.
5 years if he's healthy. So
Right. And every time that we talk about Shohei, no matter what we talk about, it's always, oh, we don't know how to even react to this because we've never seen anything like this before. So we don't know what he's going to get paid. We don't know what he's valued as. We don't know what he would get traded for because we've never seen anything like him before. So no one really knows what to do. So I don't know. It's going to be very interesting next year, this offseason, if he gets traded and signed, extended. I don't know. Something to look out for. But there's no way he gets traded this offseason or this before this trade deadline.
I don't think so.
No,
I don't
he's
think
too
so.
big of a player. Shohei's too big of a player. And there's a lot of people around the league that couldn't wait to say something like that.
Mhm.
That I just think it would get out and then, but they're not gonna trade him. And watch the Angels do the same thing that the Nationals just did. It's like we didn't see. If we didn't learn from the other team's mistake, we're gonna do the exact same thing. Let's offer Shohei the big contract,
But not big
14
enough to where
plus
he
years.
accepts it though.
Yeah. And then
So
they're like, oh,
it's kind of like what the Nationals did with Bryce. They offered him a contract, but like it was nothing that he would accept. But it was their effort of
effort.
yeah, or showing effort. But
Just
realistically, I think the Angels should trade him, but they won't.
yeah, just one last thing. Don't let this become Mike Trout 2.0. We want to see Shohei play meaningful baseball.
Mhm.
So, I mean, stats and all are great, but Mike Trout's going to be discounted when it comes to the GOAT conversation because he's hardly ever been in the playoffs. So,
Yep. And also, hopefully Mike Trout's okay. Just came out today with his that he has a rare back condition, which that he has to
yeah,
look out for. Who knows if that's like how bad it is? They only said it was rare. They never said how bad it actually is. But it just kind of made it seem like it was kind of a very bad thing, I guess. But hopefully it's good or okay that it won't end his career early. But take his time coming back this year because obviously, once again, they're not gonna make the postseason. But it's another year where he doesn't have to rush back from injury. It's like the same exact thing every single year for the Angels. Mike Trout gets injured in the second half, and then they ease him back. And then they're like, you know what, might as well take the year off because we don't need you for the playoffs. And then same thing next year.
Angel fans can't catch a break.
No,
They
no,
cannot
they
catch a break.
cannot.
I
No,
think the
they,
only joy they get is that they get to watch Shohei pitch once a week.
yeah.
That's the last thing. And then they know like this could be his last couple starts with us.
And then if any Angel fans are watching and they want to go see Shohei in person because
Do it
who
now.
knows how much longer he's going to be, I'd probably go to SeatGeek, buy some tickets, and watch Shohei play. If you use SeatGeek, use code ATD at checkout, save $20, and see Shohei Ohtani before he's in another uniform. I would do that if I was an Angels fan, or if he comes somewhere over here. I want to see Shohei. Once
Oh,
he
yeah.
gets traded to a team over here on the East Coast, I'm not going to be upset about that.
I won't lie to our listeners. I did look at the Phillies, Orioles, and Pirates schedule because that's the closest venues to me to see if they were playing the Angels at home. I don't think they were. I think they played the Orioles earlier in the season. I think I may be wrong, but if I remember correctly, so I missed my opportunity to see Shohei this season. So
yeah, once again, SeatGeek, use code ATD, $20 off, save some money. Go see your favorite player before he gets traded.
exactly.
All right. So let's get into some trade talks. Let's dive into the trade deadline. It's a week from 6 days from today. All right.
Yeah.
Let's go through, I would say,
So
the top 5.
Aaron Judge, we'll start there.
Relax. The top 5 biggest trade pieces on the market, apparently. We'll give our predictions, thoughts, who will get traded to. First up, what we talked about last week, and a week has gone by where more rumors are coming out and all this stuff, but no deals. Juan Soto. We dove into this last week, but Melo, let's hear it. What are your thoughts on the Juan Soto? Anything different from last week? What are you thinking on the Juan Soto front? Where's he going?
It's just so interesting. It's like kind of put me on the spot here, but I hate to be just so plain, but I don't think he's getting traded. I really don't.
I know.
There's none of these teams have enough. I mean, because let's think about it. The Nationals probably going to want all their top prospects, and they're going to want some active players too.
Yeah.
Now, and let me be very clear about this. Dodgers, Andrew Friedman, I'm looking directly into you. Do not trade for Juan Soto. Don't. Please don't. He's too much. He's a great player, but I mean, let me rephrase that. By too much, I mean we'd be giving up a lot.
Right.
And I don't think it's worth it. Don't trade for Juan Soto. Use the money somewhere else. Save these prospects. Maybe let's bring some of them up, or let's use them for something else. But don't go for the big fish this year.
Or at least not that big fish.
Yeah, let's use it somewhere else. But let's not. I know we're the Dodgers. We get all the freaking superstars. Apparently, we don't draft any of these guys anymore. But all we get them is through free agency now or trades. But I don't. I like Juan Soto. I just don't see it happening.
Matt?
And I hope the Dodgers don't trade for him.
Okay. I have to go with like the polar opposite of what Melo said.
Don't say the Giants.
No, not the Giants.
Yeah.
Not the Giants. I think they may be a contender for him, but I don't think that's where he'll land.
You're gonna have to give up AT&T Park.
First of all,
The big love.
I think he will get traded.
Wow. Okay.
I think he will get traded.
Okay.
I think the Cardinals, as much as it pains me as a Phillies fan, and I said it, referenced it earlier in the episode, that I hope he doesn't get traded to the Cardinals. I think they have a strong case to acquire him. And I'm going to look at this from the buying team's standpoint, not the selling team, because it would make no sense once I present this. If you look back at some of the top like 10 prospects from the last like 5, 7, 10 years, you're going to see a lot of names of people that you're like, this guy was a top prospect. Jurickson Profar, D. Gordon, is some of these other guys. You're like, they never panned out. Now, sure, there are some people, some great players who were number one prospects, and rightfully so, but it's so hard to judge. Whereas when Juan Soto is where he is right now, top 5 hitter in the league, people would say the best hitter in the league. Depends who you ask. You know what you're trading for there. So from the
And he's
buyer's
23
perspective,
years old.
he's 23 years old. 100% give up whatever prospects. I don't really care because you're going to be getting a known commodity as compared to, I'm just going to use this as an example. Tigers, Spencer Torkelson this season, kind of been a flop, and he was like a top 5 prospect.
Yeah.
Now it could go the other way around. Could be Vladdy Jr. He was a number 1 prospect, and he was runner-up for MVP last season. Kind of hard to tell. Whereas 100%, Juan Soto's been a stud, and unless barring an injury, knocking on wood, he's gonna be a star. So,
right.
Cardinals, go get him. Except don't actually. So,
Bobby,
I agree with Matt. I think you have to get Juan Soto if you're in that spot where you're one or a piece like that away, where you're almost at the World Series, like winning, or even, I know it's tough for the Dodgers because, like, do they really need Juan? So, like, do the Dodgers need an outfielder to fill that? I mean, I guess they do, but they want major league. I'm sure they want major league talent and prospects as well. I don't think that they would just take prospects. So to completely like give away a player like a young player on a core player from your team, I feel like it's kind of tough to do, but I think you have to do it. It's a Juan Soto you're talking about. Some of these prospects are as old as Juan Soto. Like, think about that. And Juan Soto is already like the top player in the league. I think you got to go all in for Juan Soto if you think you can do it, and if you're a contending team right on the edge of World Series championship, Juan Soto will be that player to make that happen for your team. And I don't
as long as your owner's willing to get out of his checkbook,
right,
and write a blank check to Juan Soto, go for it. So, I mean, that eliminates the Cincinnati Reds and a handful of other very
Oakland A's.
Scrupulous or very cheap franchises. So,
But as to where he is going, or if he's going anywhere, it's just so hyped up that I hope he gets traded. Like, I don't even care who. But I'm kind of scared that he's not going to get traded just because of how big this deal will literally be probably one of the biggest deals, if not the biggest deal in baseball history. When has anyone like this ever been traded? I don't know if there's ever been a scenario like this. So to organize a deal like this, I think it's kind of unlikely, but I really do hope he gets traded, but I'm unfortunately going to lean towards no. Just because it would just be such a big deal.
they should trade a Judge for Soto straight up.
Yeah, yeah.
just to
let's
Judge back.
let's play this out. Like, Judge could leave at the end of the season, and you still have 2 more years of Juan Soto.
Yeah, but then the Yankees would have to. No, I'm not even. Hold on, I'm not even entertaining this. I don't know why. You sucked me. You almost got me. You
I was
almost got
close.
me.
I mean, he could go to
One-
the other New York team, but I don't think they're trading him in division.
Yeah,
You can't do that.
Yeah,
Right.
but they have the worst record already. It's like, okay, what are you gaining out of this?
and it's not like the Nationals are going to be good. Like, they
In
don't.
a couple, like in a year.
But if
Mm,
they get the prospects from the Mets, maybe that could help their future. I don't know.
yeah.
What team would Juan Soto help out the most out of all of the teams that are apparently, out of all the teams that are supposedly interested in Juan Soto, what team do you think would Juan Soto take them to the next level, if that makes sense?
I'll go with the Cardinals. My pick for him to get traded to. And that's partially the reason I picked them for him to get traded to, because right now they're right on the precipice. They're just right there where everybody thinks it's probably split 50-50 whether who's the better team, the Brewers or Cardinals. And people are saying Cardinals are right on that edge, and this would definitely put them over the top, in my opinion.
Yeah. Melo? Anyone?
I'll go with the team that's right below us, San Diego.
Yeah.
I mean, you trade for Juan Soto, and then you
Imagine
get
Juan Soto and Tatis on the same team.
yeah. I mean, your top three hitters is going to be Machado, Tatis, and Soto.
That would be ridiculous.
You're still not winning the division, but I mean, if still not winning the division, even though I just said it's not over,
Right.
but I would want to face that team.
Oh,
And right now, it would be Atlanta in a 3-game set, in a wild card.
okay.
San Diego.
I think yeah, San Diego actually. I wonder what major league talent they would have to give up though. That's the thing.
Jake Cronenworth.
Maybe.
Could be.
Is
Christian?
Eric Hosmer still on the team? Are you still interested? And-
Yeah, Eric Hosmer
Salary
for
dump.
Eric
Soto
Hosmer.
straight up.
Yeah.
I'm thinking either the Cardinals or the Mets. Like, I don't think he's gonna get traded to the Mets, but I think that would just put the Mets to the next level. I think that would make them the best team in the National League. Definitely.
Okay.
With DeGrom, if fully healthy, of course. And that's saying a lot out of the Mets. But I think if Soto went to the Mets, that would just take them to the next level. But I don't think it's gonna happen. I
Keep
hope he
dreaming.
gets traded. I hope he gets traded. It's gonna be such a letdown if he doesn't get traded. It's like the most hyped up thing surrounding baseball.
I mean, we're gonna know by the morning of August 2nd if he's getting traded or not.
Oh yeah.
We're gonna be waking up. It's like, is Soto getting traded? Nope. All right.
I
good
check
night.
every
See
day.
you
I
guys.
check every morning. I'm like, hopefully something happened overnight.
Hopefully something happens.
But all right. So we have 2 no's and 1 to the Cardinals. Luis Castillo. You guys go first. Someone take it away.
Dodgers. It's between your two teams, basically. I mean, come on, it is. I'll give them to the Dodgers.
The only thing that worries me is that Luis Castillo has been rumored to get traded, it seems, for the past 5 years, and he
Yes.
never gets traded. So I
Yeah.
just have lost confidence. Like whenever I hear the trade deadline, Yankees are interested in Luis Castillo. Like I know, like how interested can they be? They've been interested the past 5 years, it seems, and he never gets traded. But supposedly it's real this time, which I've been hearing every year. But yeah, I hope the Yankees get him. I really do. I'm gonna say the Yankees, but Melo.
Well, that was the same thing you mentioned we mentioned for the last couple years that Castillo has been always rumored to get traded. That was the same thing with Chris Archer
Yeah.
when he was in Tampa. Like he was always rumored for like 3 straight deadlines. It's like, oh, the Dodgers are interested. They want to trade for him. And I
Yeah.
was like, all right, cool. Give me Chris Archer. I want that. Never happened. And
Yeah.
honestly, in hindsight, I'm glad they didn't trade for him.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
We're-
I mean, the only reason why the Dodgers, this is why I kind of want them to be careful this year. I don't want them to trade for somebody just to keep them away from other teams. I
Fair.
don't want them to do that.
That's fair.
So, but I mean, I love Castillo right now, but
Where's he going?
I think he's going to be a Yankee. I'll go with Bobby. I think the Dodgers hesitate, and then the Yankees just make a last-minute push and get him.
Interesting. I think Cashman realized this year after the first half, and then I think they're 500 in July so far. I think they're after their regression after the All-Star break. He's kind of like, okay, I kind of need to make basically a Dodgers FU move from last year. That's what the Yankees need to do this year.
Yeah, he's starting to realize that Nestor Cortez, he might not be my number 2 guy anymore.
What about Wilson Contreras? He's been rumored, I've seen, to like 10 teams, it seems like.
Got a
Great
standing
catcher.
ovation yesterday.
Yeah, that was sad.
That was sad.
That was really
This is
sad.
2 years in a row now where the Cubs just completely just let go of their guys. I mean, it makes sense, and I hope the Cubs trade Contreras because I mean he's walking
I mean, it
in a
seems like
couple
it
months.
is already. I mean, he was
Yeah,
acting like it was a done deal.
yeah.
But what do you guys think he's been rumored Astros, Mets, actually, I don't know who else now, off the top of my head. But those two teams I know definitely were interested in Contreras. What do you think?
I would say Houston. I think they're like that's their one weaker spot
Yeah,
in their team is offensive catching.
right.
Maldonado is a great not great defensive necessarily, pretty good defensively, and good from what I understand, good with the rotation and good framer as well.
Right.
So having an offensive guy behind the dish would be great. I don't know if they're hesitant to take Maldonado out of the daily catching duties, but
Yeah.
I don't know. But I think it would make sense for Houston to get him.
Yeah. Melo, where do you think this soon to be ex Cub is going?
The Mets are gonna do something, and I think this is it right here. I think they're gonna realize a couple days prior that what, we're not getting Juan Soto. Let's go after Contreras. I think their whole mindset completely shifts to Contreras, and I think that's where he's gonna end up.
I actually agree with the Mets. I think that they're gonna do it too. The only reason I think the Astros won't do it is because of apparently how loved Maldonado is, and I guess like defensive wise and stuff. And the Mets obviously have a catching problem, and they also are not calling up their number one prospect, who is like an amazing catcher. So by them not bringing him up, I feel like they're just waiting to get major league ready talent or like proven major league ready talent because their catchers right now are just not producing. And they're in the same boat as the Astros, kind of where it's kind of their only need other than like a DH. But I think Contreras is a Met. I could see him going there.
They better be careful. This could be one of those things where it backfires on them last year, like with Javi Baez,
Yeah.
where he gets to New
Oh
York,
yeah.
completely shits the bed.
Yeah.
A Chicago guy gets to New York City, the big market, shits the bed. In this case, I think the Mets are not going to collapse this year, so they'll make the playoffs.
Right.
Contreras will have a bad series, realize, you know what, maybe this is not the team I want to spend the rest of my career with, and just walks.
Yeah. I mean, they would
So
only
they
need
better.
him
So
for
be
this.
careful. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Or that's
I
their
think if the
mindset
Mets,
at least.
yeah, if the Mets were to win, if the Mets trade for Contreras, they go on to win the whole thing. It's like, yeah, it's okay. You can walk. Go ahead. We got a ring.
Yeah, exactly.
Go
All
get
right.
your 300 million from somewhere else.
All right, now two outfielders. Contreras' teammate Ian Happ and Andrew Benintendi from the Royals. Both seems to be guaranteed to be traded is just what like it seems like from the rumors. Where do you think these guys are going?
Somebody else has got to go first here. I am not sure about this one. So
The only okay, so I think the Yankees have been linked to Benintendi basically all ever since this whole thing has been started. The only problem is that Benintendi is not vaccinated. So that's kind of like a question mark as if the Yankees would actually want to get him because what if they play a playoff series in Toronto and then their outfielder that they just acquired at the trade deadline can't play, which would definitely suck. Ian Happ is definitely more expensive, I would say, than Benintendi, but I'll go Benintendi to the Yankees.
Look how happy he got when he said that.
But there was also, who was it? Was it Whit Merrifield that said when that whole thing came out, when basically like 10, however many Royals weren't vaccinated and didn't go? He said paraphrasing, he basically said that he didn't get it because like he knew he wasn't going to play any important games in Toronto. Like if he was on a good team, like it was something to that extent. So maybe if Benintendi like knew he was maybe making the postseason, maybe after the Yankees get him, he would get vaccinated. I don't know, but I don't know.
First of all, I never knew being unvaccinated in the United States of America was a big problem. Never knew that, for starters.
Well, you can't go. Toronto doesn't allow you to play in there, or Canada, obviously, doesn't let you play. So that's why it would be a little bit of an issue. But another destination, like the Brewers definitely need bats. But then would the Cubs trade with the Brewers and get them Ian Happ? Probably not. But the Blue Jays maybe could get Ian Happ. I don't know. There are a bunch of teams that need that offense because, like the Brewers, I was just saying, they definitely struggle on the offensive side, and Happ and Benintendi are two guys that definitely can improve offensively. So I don't really know where Happ would go, but
I think okay. Benintendi to the Padres. I think that's a good fit. They need some outfield help. Trent Grisham has not exactly worked out how they were hoping.
Didn't he
like
wasn't
at
he
all.
good in 2020? Was that it? 2020?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He had one good year, right? Well,
Yes.
year.
And he was a pretty decent prospect, I think, coming up. But yeah, he hasn't exactly panned out. Padres need some outfield help as they look to try and get back within striking distance of the Dodgers. And then Happ, it's a little contingent. Could he switch in to the south side for Chicago, the White Sox?
Wow.
Oh,
Could they be interested in some outfield help with Eloy always injured Roberts? I mean, the poor guy can't catch a break, it seems like, but I don't want to make fun of him for being injured. Obviously, that sucks, but like
Something
they
about that
need
grass
some
out there.
oh yeah.
they need some help if they want to actually be contenders. And they have, I can't remember if they have the easiest, but I think they have a top 3 easiest schedule in the second half.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't count them out, I guess, quite yet, but I think they could be in play for Ian Happ.
Okay, ready? I know where Ian Happ's gonna go. Philadelphia Phillies.
See, that's an interesting one. I thought about saying that.
I'll say it for you.
I appreciate it, but I'm not sure.
I don't think it's gonna happen.
It would get,
but
I don't know. I don't know. Castellanos has been a little disappointing. And I see when Bryce gets back, I don't know. Does Happ play center?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
If Happ's a natural center fielder, then leave him in center, and Bryce in right.
He can play center.
I guess Schwarber and Castellanos can switch off in left and DH. So it might be a decent fit. I don't know who the Phillies would want to have to give up for Ian Happ, because it seems like it'd be a pretty decent haul over Benintendi. Don't you think Benintendi would be less expensive than Happ?
Yeah. But I already said
Yeah.
the Yankees are getting Benintendi, so
Okay,
no
never
choice
mind.
now.
Yeah, sorry. That's already written in pen. But yeah, I don't know.
Hold on. I actually thought Ian Happ played more games in center, but is 3 games enough in center field this year?
Yeah, plenty.
For the Phillies, obviously. Come on. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Bryce could play center, I think. I think.
No,
if he comes back.
Ian Happ has played center. He played center a lot
Okay.
last year, but I just thought it was funny that I said yes. For the series,
Okay.
but he's played 3
But yeah,
games.
but does he have how much time does he have left on his contract? Half.
I don't think. I feel like it's next year.
Okay. I mean, the Phillies are willing to pay out money, but I don't know. I don't know. I like the fit, but I'm not sure about the what
So
they'd
you get
have
a
to
year
give
and a
up
half.
in signing him.
You get a year and a half of Hap.
Okay. It
Melo,
could be worth it
any
then.
predictions
Yeah.
for these 2 outfielders here?
Benintendi's a Yankee, damn it. I think immediately when the freaking deadline starts, Yankees are trading for breaking news. We're trading for Benintendi. Yeah, we knew that since the middle of May. Ian Happ.
I like
Damn.
that Padres. Well,
Yeah,
did you say
yeah.
Benintendi or
Yeah,
Hap for the
Benintendi.
Padres?
Yeah.
Matt, which one?
Yeah. Benintendi to Padres,
Okay.
Hap to the White Sox.
I don't like the White Sox. That's interesting. What do you? Okay, where's Hap going, Melo?
I know they're shopping him around, but I'll be different and say they don't find the right deal and he stays.
Okay,
I think that's a realistic
it
possibility
is.
too.
It is. It is.
And they just hold him for another year and then trade him next year.
Yeah.
Yeah. Makes sense. All right. So there are very short predictions. We could also go down a list of 50 other guys that may or may not be traded, but
Paul
we're not going
Blackburn.
to do that.
Frankie Montas.
Yeah, the entire A's roster.
Yeah.
What do they have left other than Frankie Montas and Paul Blackburn?
Sean Murphy's been thrown around. I've seen.
Oh, Sean Murphy.
Hey, he's a
No
decent
disrespect, but come
catcher,
on. I know, but come
above average.
on. That's not saying much for major league catchers.
Wow.
Where's Ryan Lavarnway going? Someone pick him up to play catcher.
Yes. Don't you want a World Series champion for your postseason run?
Yeah,
An
Dodgers need
experienced
a-
veteran?
Dodgers need a backup catcher,
and a social
Or
media star.
Yes.
another backup catcher.
Yeah, right.
I'll
right?
get
They
it.
signed-
Listen, I'll get a
They signed
LeVar
Barnes
jersey.
to a deal, didn't they?
Yes, they did.
Yeah.
Middle of a game too was announced. I was like, oh, this is great. Good for Austin Barnes.
What
Hasn't
was he in the
struck
dugout?
out-
What was he in the
Struck
dugout?
out again.
He comes back in. He's like, "Hey, you want to sign this deal? Yeah, sure. All right."
Yeah. Congratulations.
Here,
I
they're
mean,
like,
he's Kershaw's personal catcher now, so it's like, hey, if you're gonna keep Kershaw, you got to keep Barnes.
oh, so he's a drama queen like that. He needs his own personal catcher.
Yeah, World
Whoa.
Series champion Clayton Kershaw. Yeah, exactly.
What would you know about that, Bobby?
What,
Yeah.
Garrett Cole?
Yeah.
I'm the first person to say that Cole's a drama queen.
Kermit.
Anyway.
That's fair.
Yes, exactly, Kermit. All right. Any final thoughts? I hope Juan Soto gets traded. It's gonna be such a letdown if he doesn't.
But
I hate to break it to you. I think you're gonna be disappointed.
I know.
Don't
I
think
know.
it's
Me
happening.
too. But I'm gonna speak it into existence. Juan Soto will be traded before the deadline this year.
I think if all the moves that we said happen, or all these players get traded, excluding Soto and Shohei, all the other guys, I think it'd still be a pretty fun trade deadline, in my
Yeah, me too.
opinion.
And
There's
there's
plenty of other
always there's
people.
definitely gonna be some like random move that no one expected either. There's always one of those.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Hence the Dodgers, Trey Turner, Scherzer.
I mean, I saw that coming out of
Oh,
out of
yeah.
left field. So
Yeah, of course.
yeah.
All right, that's it. That's enough. That's enough. Hope no trades were announced during our recording, but maybe we'll see. I don't know. All right.
I'll have Jeff Passan give us a heads up before he tweets
Okay.
anything out. So
Yeah, I don't know why we didn't ask him, but maybe next time. All right.
I have to
Anyway.
invite him on. So
Yes, of course. Episode 36 in the books. Peace. See you guys next week.
See ya.
see ya.